Our story begins billions of years ago on a desolate prehistoric Earth. A massive towering spacecraft hovers over a waterfall. On the ground stands a pale, muscular humanoid alien. He drinks a mysterious, swirling dark liquid, and within seconds, his body violently disintegrates from the inside out. His genetic ash cascades into the water, triggering a biogenetic reaction that sparks life on Earth. Fast forward to the year 2089. Archaeologists Elizabeth Shaw and Charlie Holloway are exploring a dark cave in Scotland when they discover an ancient star map. It matches artifacts from completely unconnected ancient civilizations worldwide. Shaw believes it's an invitation from our creators, whom she calls the engineers. Cut to the year 2093. The research vessel Prometheus arrives at the distant planet LV-223 after a 2-year journey. While the crew slept in stasis, an android named David monitored the ship, studying ancient languages. Once awake, the mission director, a cold and calculated woman named Meredith Vickers, introduces a holographic message from Sir Peter Wayland, the dying billionaire who funded this whole trip. He wants answers to life's greatest mysteries, and he brought along the best team money could buy. They land near a massive, artificial mountain-like structure. Eager to play God, the team suits up and heads inside. Using advanced mapping drones, they navigate the dark, winding tunnels. They discover a chamber where the air is mysteriously breathable. But David, driven by his own hidden agenda, notices a strange green slime on the walls. He touches a console, activating a terrifying holographic recording of ancient engineers, running for their lives from an unseen horror. Following the projection, the team finds a decapitated engineer corpse. Carbon dating shows it has been dead for over 2,000 years. What could possibly terrify a god? David forces open a sealed door, revealing a massive tomb filled with strange cylindrical vases oozing an oily black liquid. Suddenly, a massive silica storm hits the planet, forcing the team to run back to the ship. David secretly steals one of the vases, while 2 terrified crew members, Fifield and Milburn, get left behind in the dark. Back on Prometheus, Shaw analyzes the engineer's head. They shock the neural pathways, causing the ancient face to twitch and contort before exploding in a horrific mess. The DNA results are a perfect match to humans. We are them, and they are us. But while Shaw celebrates, David is in the lab opening the stolen vase. He extracts a single drop of the black mutagenic pathogen. With a chilling, calm demeanor, David slips the black goo into a glass of champagne and hands it to Holloway. Holloway drinks it, completely unaware that his death sentence has just been served. That night, a changing Holloway sleeps with Shaw, passing the infection to her. Meanwhile, trapped in the ruins, Fifield and Milburn stumble upon a pile of slaughtered engineer corpses. Suddenly, the black liquid on the floor begins to ripple. A pale snake-like creature rises from the sludge. Milburn, trying to be a scientist, gets too close. The creature snaps, wrapping around his arm and breaking it with sickening force. It shoves itself down his throat while spraying acid that melts Fifield's face. The next morning, the crew returns to search for them. David splits from the group and finds something monumental, a Stargate-like control room containing a single surviving engineer asleep in a stasis pod. David boots up the ship's hologram, watching the ancient alien play a flute as a massive star map fills the room, highlighting Earth as its final destination. Elsewhere, the crew finds Milburn's body, but Holloway is collapsing, his veins turning black and his eyes mutating. They rush him back to Prometheus, but Vickers stands at the hangar doors with the flamethrower. She refuses to let the infection on board. As Holloway begs for his life, he realizes what he is becoming and steps into the flames, burning alive before Shaw's eyes. If you think that's bad, things get exponentially worse. David examines a grieving Shaw and drops a bombshell. She is 3 months pregnant? The twist? She was infertile, and she only had lovemaking with Holloway 10 hours ago. Realizing something monstrous is growing inside her, Shaw begs for surgery, but David tries to force her into stasis to preserve the alien specimen. Driven by pure survival instinct, Shaw knocks out the guards, stumbles into an automated medical bay, and programs it for a cesarean section. The robotic claws slice her open, and she watches in sheer horror as they pull a squirming, tentacled octopus-like creature out of her womb. She staples her stomach shut, traps the monster in the med bay, and runs. Suddenly, a mutated, monstrous Fifield returns to the ship, slaughtering crew members with supernatural strength until they burn him to ash. Amidst the chaos, Shaw makes a stunning discovery. Sir Peter Wayland didn't die on Earth. He's been hiding on the ship all along. The frail old man believes the surviving engineer can grant him immortality. Shaw warns him that this place is an ancient military outpost and the black liquid is a biological weapon that got out of control. They brought death upon themselves. Wayland ignores her. He, David, and a team head back to the control room. When they awaken the giant engineer, David tries to speak to him in his ancient tongue, asking for Wayland's immortality. The engineer looks at David, strokes his head, and then brutally rips David's head clean off his shoulders. He uses David's skull to beat Wayland to death. As Wayland dies, he realizes his billions couldn't buy salvation. The engineer then activates the console. The entire structure begins to shift and rise. It's not a temple. It's a colossal crescent-shaped bomber starship loaded with thousands of weaponized black goo canisters, and its coordinates are locked onto Earth. Shaw escapes to the surface, screaming into her radio for the Prometheus captain, Janek, to stop it. Realizing the stakes, Janek and his crew make the ultimate sacrifice. They steer Prometheus directly into the alien vessel, crashing into it in a spectacular, fiery explosion. The massive alien ship loses power and crashes back to the planet, rolling like a giant wheel, crushing Vickers alive as she runs in a straight line. Shaw survives and scrambles into an escape pod, only to find that her alien offspring has grown into a gargantuan tentacled behemoth. Trapped in the next room, suddenly the surviving engineer, furious and burned, breaks into the pod to kill her. In a desperate move, Shaw opens the door to the medical bay, unleashing her giant alien child. The monster tackles the engineer, shoving a massive ovipositor down his throat in a horrific embrace. Shaw escapes into the barren wasteland. David's severed head speaks to her through her radio, revealing there are more engineer ships on the planet, and he can fly them. Shaw recovers David's body and head, but she refuses to go back to Earth. She wants to go to the engineer's homeworld. She needs to know why they created us, only to grow to hate us so much that they engineered our extinction. As they blast off into the dark cosmos, back in the escape pod, the engineer's chest bursts open, giving birth to the very first, terrifying xenomorph. If a highly advanced creator race decided humanity was a mistake that needed to be wiped out, do you think we have the right to demand answers? Or should we have just stayed on Earth and minded our own business? Let me know in the comments below. And thanks for watching.